Hola, mi gente. Welcome to our PC Power Hour for April. This is one of my actually favorite PC Power Hours of the year because it is when we sent out award notifications and students are super excited about receiving the scholarship. And we get to discuss how to onboard scholars onto our campuses so that they can really have a successful start to their academic career. We have a pretty packed agenda today, so I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to start off with just again some numbers and some information regarding the award announcements that have just recently gone out. And then I'm going to give some overarching themes about how to engage our new scholars on your campus. Again, just to ensure that they are able to start their academic careers with just the proper guidance and all of the support services that they need. And then, we always love when we have the opportunity to spotlight our partner colleges and the work that is being done on the ground. So today we're going to be joined by Southern Connecticut State University, Maribel Sanchez, who is going to be talking about some of the work that she's been doing on campus to really onboard new scholars onto the campus. And likewise, the University of North Texas, Dallas, Jose Posada Trinia. And they're both going to be giving some more in-depth details about how they're managing their onboarding process on their campus, and hopefully highlighting some opportunities that you can take into consideration and how you might want to organize this process for yourselves and for your scholars on your campus. As you can see, we have a number of announcements and housekeeping issues of things that you should definitely know because you're going to get questions regarding, I want to say 95% of this stuff from your scholars. So please stay through the entire process so that you can hear all of the updates and housekeeping announcements. With that, I'm going to jump into onboarding new scholars. So last week we had, just the great opportunity to award um, over 700 new Dream.Us scholars through our national scholarship program. And so, as you know, once we award the scholars, it's not just sort of a set process. We do ask them to accept their award. They do have a deadline of May 8th in order to do that through their portal and make sure that we know that they are committed to being a Dream.Us scholar. So we do ask them to do that in order to make this process official. It's not official until they accept their award. That is a really um, underlining statement that we want to make sure that all scholars or new scholars know that this is part of the process and that there is an opportunity for them to lose the scholarship opportunity if they don't accept. Now, these 700 exclude Florida and Texas. As we all know, Florida recently repealed its in state tuition. Um, and unfortunately, we are seeing some signs that Texas may be sort of on that same path. So for right now, we are actually holding off on awarding any new scholarships in these states. And so I don't want to get too in the weeds of all of this, but if scholars are still potentially being able to receive the scholarship in these states, they have been notified that they are listed as finalists. And that does not mean that they are getting the award. That means that they are a finalist and that they will get further notifications in June and July, depending on the state that they're in, regarding the finalization of their application process. So I just want to make sure all that is sort of hopefully clear, and so that we have that information. We'll leave time at the end of that for questions if folks have any questions regarding any of the material that is shared in the presentation today. Now, as you can see for our current acceptance numbers, we do have over 400 that as of yesterday still have not accepted or responded to their application award. So this is where we need your help. This is where we ask our partner colleges to really reach out to scholars, reach out to your current awardees, and make sure that they know that they've been awarded the scholarship and that they're going through the process of accepting their award, right? So breaking this down a little bit, so before May 8th deadline, we ask that you all go to your ISTS partner college portal. If you look at your applicant report, under column P, you will be able to see your applicants that have been awarded the scholarship. Again, this is all excluding Florida and Texas at this point, um, who have been awarded the scholarship. And in column R, you'll be able to see whether they have um, accepted the award, declined the award, but most importantly for this process, whether they haven't responded or have just started to accept the award, right? So these are the folks we want you to reach out to. You know, if you can give them a call and just let them know, please, we see that your status is still hasn't been confirmed. Make sure that you do that before the May 8th deadline because you could lose out on this opportunity if you don't do it before that deadline. So in addition to that, right, thinking holistically, you also want to reach out to your awardees and let them know if there's any outstanding processes for your own campus, right? If they need to commit to their, college award process or have any paperwork or anything else that they need in order to onboard through the college itself effectively and streamlinedly. Please let them know this at this time and sort of reach out to make sure that they're managing both the scholarship but also the partner college responsibilities of onboarding to the campus. After May 8th, after the dust settles, everyone is accepted or declined. That is when you will be able to see your applicants on your partner college scholar report, right? So as they accept or decline the award, that information is automatically transferred into your partner college scholar report. And so that you'll have that, they'll officially be part of your scholar community on your campus. They will be on your EVRs moving forward and are officially part of your cohort. And this is a perfect opportunity to let them know who their Dream.Us campus team is on your campus, right? So their scholar advisor, their career advisor, all of those key points of contact on campus, specifically for the scholarship program. Now, again, some overarching themes for this process, right? So one of the things I want to mention is, you know, we know that overwhelmingly our scholars are first generation college students who don't have other folks to help them sort of usher them through this process, right? So the the one thing I want to hit is really it is important to get scholars grounded in this experience, in this transition of their academic life. And so, that is not just with the scholarship and what the scholarship entails, but really just going to college. What are the support networks? What are the pieces that they need to be thinking about right now as they make this transition, right? And so, one or two of the actionable items that I want to highlight are really orientation sessions, really on in person, bringing them on campus, having folks that can outline that process for them is super, super important. We've had partner colleges in the past also make handouts with contact folks of who they need to reach out to if they have issues, if they have questions. So this is a great way to sort of, again, get students grounded through this process. I also want to sort of hit, we don't want to think in the box, right? We don't want to just think, okay, immigration, these are immigration students. And so like, yeah, they know where the undocumented student center is, right? That is great. Yes, they need to know that. They need to know if there's a legal clinic on your campus, right? These are all great resources for our students, but they also need to know where the academic advisement office is, where is the mental health service is, where is the writing center, right? All of these other sort of really key aspects for them to be able to excel academically should be also included as part of this process because we need to think holistically in supporting our students, right? So this needs to be a collaborative effort across all of your campus offices, right? So be the bridge not only for the student and the office from the student perspective, but really in connecting with staff in these offices so that they also know how to work with this specific student population and what are the things that they need to be aware of to really work effectively with students. And then finally, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I know I say this all the time. Creating community, right? We hear it from our scholars in their surveys. We hear it when we meet with them at events. Um, like it is just top three, maybe probably the top one aspect that our scholars themselves tell us is super important for them to be able to excel, right? Having that community, not only of supporting professionals, but of their peers. I found out this opportunity because another scholar told me he was able to get an internship with it. So I knew that they were friendly. I knew that I can reach out to them and get that, right? Like they need to be able to have that peer network, um, that only you can help create on the campus, right? So I strongly encourage you all to create these opportunities. Again, the orientation could be the first step to that. And scholars being able to connect with themselves as a scholarship organization or even as individual cohorts. Best practices, again, really strongly hope we see like across the board orientations being held this year for our scholars. And again, I want to hit this sense of creating a supporting community on campus. Like let's not bullshit, right? Like the overwhelming anti-immigrant rhetoric has been super amplified within this last year. Our students are experiencing more sentiments of isolation and insecurity. They don't know who they can trust. They don't know who they can ask questions to. So it is more important than ever that we are all working together to create these communities on campus where they feel they have support, they have peers, they have professionals working with them on campus to help them gain their degrees and really sort of achieve their goals. I cannot amplify how important this is much more for our scholars. Again, you need to amplify who the point people are on campus to work with them and where they can ask questions, um, and inform them of the additional resources that are available on campus, whether that be a food pantry, emergency funding services. All of those different networks need to be shared so that they know, again, what are all of their options and support systems on campus. But it's a two-way street, right? Like you're not only letting them know that you're there for them and that they have that support, but they also need to know that they have expectations. We have expectations of them as well, right? They have scholar responsibilities. They need to go into class. They need to be staying on top of their work. They need to be able to reach out when there's something wrong, when they need help, right? So we also want to make sure that we're setting the proper expectations, that they know what is expected of them, um, and also what are the career and pathway opportunities available to them. Some of them, this may be the first time them hearing that they may not be able to go into a traditional work environment. We need to be having those difficult conversations as early as possible so that they can know exactly how they can sort of formulate their trajectory in their academic career. And then award breakdowns and timelines, right? We always have questions regarding this. This is always going to be a thing, but as soon as you can get it into their minds in terms of what their scholarship provides funding for, what is the timeline for those fundings to get dispersed, really eases some of the anxiety for students to be able to know when that's coming in and when to expect that. I'll even admit, there might have been one or two times where I didn't submit my EVR on time when I was on the campus site, one or two at most, but my students never freaked out and emailed Elena because they knew the process. They knew that I was on it. They knew that I was, and if there was a delay on my end, I made sure that I emailed them and let them know, hey, there's been a delay. This is when you're going to be expecting this. So I do have a link here to some other examples of, I know Trinity and John Jay and some other colleges have put together some handout materials in the past. So I wanted to share that as examples and you'll be able to get the link on the slide. Now with that, I will pass the mic to our amazing scholar advisor, Maribel Sanchez, who will talk about her process in her orientation process.
Thank you, Chris. Oh, I was like surprised to see my face on the screen there. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Maribel Sanchez, and I'm the Associate Director for University Access Programs, which is the overarching department that houses the Dream.Us scholars here at Southern Connecticut State University. So our orientation process is hopefully not that different from anybody else's. We just try to create a warm and welcoming environment for our scholars. And for us, what we have found here at Southern is that early engagement is what works best for us. And so we start right. We just started this week actually with award acceptance support. So our Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Tracy Tyree, and our Director of Enrollment Management, our Vice President of Enrollment Management, Julie, are super involved, and they have sent out a letter to all of our scholars that it literally breaks down their award and what it looks like, what it will look like on the back end in terms of their banner system and things like that, just so that students are not confused and they're not concerned about, oh, I'm only getting this much in my scholarship, but that must mean that I have to pay this much out of pocket. So we do a complete breakdown in terms of like what your scholarship covers, what the university will cover, and how it will all be broken down. And I think that alleviates some of the trepidation in terms of students accepting their awards, and it also creates a warm welcome, right? So our students will feel supported, particularly by our university administration. I think even more so in this time, that's super important.
Something went wrong. Please
And
try again.
and Siri's trying to come on right here on, what the heck. So it also creates, this just a sense of welcoming, which is what we want to start with firsthand. Next slide. And going right into that, so with early engagement, we start in April, right? So we start right when our students receive that letter. We want to make sure that they know that this is not a hoax, that they are definitely, scholarship award recipients, and that they should accept it definitely. And then we like to push to make sure that our students are doing all the things that are, if they're new admitted students, to doing all the things that new admitted students do here at Southern, which is going to new student orientation, things of that nature. But then also assuring that they're part of a much broader community, which is the Dream.Us community, right? So making sure that they know that there are other Dream.Us scholars here on our campus, and we try to push to make sure that they come and do the in-person watch party, so that they can watch the virtual welcome, so that they see that they're part of this big, huge community of scholars, but that there's also this community of scholars here, and we encourage families to come. We want to make it a warm and intimate setting. So we've hosted for the past couple of years since the Dream.Us has started having this virtual, this nationwide watch new scholar welcome. We've hosted an in-person watch party, and we invite all the families, we invite the supporters, we invite our campus partners, and they make brief introductions, nothing too formal. We just want it to be just like kind of like a, hey, come watch this with us, meet us, see my face in person. They've seen my name now several times. They've seen some of our key partners' names several times, and now it's time to kind of meet us in person. So it's just, again, building that community, assuring them that they're safe, that they're welcome here, and that we're here to really just welcome them on our campus, and we want them to get their education here. And then past that, so once they're students here at Southern, once they're admitted, they're in their first week here at Southern, we hold our scholar welcome. So this scholar welcome, it usually happens the first or second week of classes. They're pretty into they've already kind of gotten the rigmarole of their classes, their courses. This is when we host the new scholar welcome event, where we introduce them more intimate, more in depth into our key partners. So we work super closely with our Office of Career and Professional Development and our counseling services, which is usually our key folks that we invite, and our Esteban Garcia, who is one of our partners in the student accounts office. He's also like super involved within our Dream Scholar Network here on campus and things of that nature. And so we invite these key partners so that they can see their faces. They can, each partner makes a presentation that kind of outlines like what their role is within the university, or what their role is with the Dream.Us scholars in general. We have our vice president, or Hopefully this year we'll have our president come and be able to talk to our students, but we try to invite our admin so that our admin can also, they can, see their faces, make key connections and things of that nature. But most importantly, we have our returning scholars come to this, this scholar welcome reception. It's super important and super vital for our returning scholars to come in and take advantage of meeting our new scholars, right? It really just shows them that they're again part of a bigger community, and that there are other folks on our campus that share their same story. They really enjoyed. We did a scholar community building activity where one of our scholars actually led it, and it was really just like a kind of like almost like a bingo, but not really. It was just really a get to know you kind of situation. They enjoyed that so much. And they didn't want to stop. That's what we kind of ended with. And then I had to like interrupt them and say, hey guys, so I just want to do some closing remarks. But then I let them continue after the fact, and they just wanted to get to know each other. And that's what we've seen, that they just want to get to know each other, and they just want to have share stories, or like, hey, are you going through this? I'm going through this, and really share resources and things of that nature. We always know that our scholars are our biggest they're our biggest we don't need no marketing when we have our own scholars, because they're the ones that are telling them other folks in the community like, hey, you need to do this, or this is what I did. And so it's been really crucial having our returning scholars come and speak to our new incoming scholars, but then also having our key partners be involved, where they see all these faces on campus. They see what are some of the things that they're eligible for, and like how much support just surrounds them has been also really pivotal and truly important. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Now I'll pass it over to Joe.
Thank you, Maribel, and thank you, Chris, for this opportunity to come on. So, like, to Marimel's point as well, like, oh, like, you're part of these meetings, monthly meetings, right? For so long, and then you finally see your face there, like, okay, cool, we're doing something right. But thank you all for this opportunity. My name is Joe Posada. I'm the director of the Office of Student Connections and Support within Student Affairs here at UNT Dallas, and I'm also the scholar advisor here for our Dream.Us scholars at UNT Dallas. And so, similar to what Maribel does and what other institutions do here, hopefully that doesn't, a lot of it aligns, but we do, when once we hear that our students are coming, a new cohort is coming, we start wrapping and prepping for communication to go out. Now this year, it is a little bit different from what Chris shared earlier in this meeting, is that, Texas and states like Florida as well, we're being impacted by the political landscape happening in the state, unfortunately. And so that means that we have to pivot. And so the last couple of years, we've seen some legislation from SB 17 to other things that have affected my office in particular, as well, in the work that we do, supporting not only our Dream.Us scholars, but our students across campus and across the state as well. And so this year we had to pivot. And so even though students are not receiving communication about their status of the Dream.Us scholarship, we still reach out to the students, since we do have that list of students that applied, through the partner college, the PC report, and what have you. And so what we end up doing is that we still reach out to those students. We still keep engaged with them, despite of what is happening at the state level, because we want to ensure that our students still feel support and welcome. And so we still know that there's some other things that we have to complete. And so between now and the month of May, we're reaching out and still doing outreach, text, calls, emails, whatever works best for the student, to ensure that they're completing their admissions applications, completing their financial aid applications. And then if you're thinking about living on campus, or if they're part of other organizations, we're kind of wrapping all that paperwork down, because it still is the things that are still need to get done in order for them to be in good standing for the institution. And then we start thinking about other next steps as well. We also know the students during this time, because the Dream.Us plays a pivotal role, and then also with the institution and what have you, thinking about where it is that they're going to end up coming in the fall. So we also want to ensure, I'm taking my student affairs hat and adding my admissions hat on, is like, retention and keeping them engaged and what have you. So we're still staying in communication with them. Then when we go to between May, June, and July, as we start identifying when the new scholar welcome is, we start building our own new Trailblazer welcome for our students. And so so again, we'll continue having that conversation about, hey, What are you missing for admissions and financial aid? Have we already registered for orientation? If not, this is the orientations that we have left. And then also ensure that they're registering for the fall semester as well. I'm not sure how other partner colleges there when they think about enrollment management and academic advising, but for us, our students can come in and be enrolled in classes before they even attend orientation, or vice versa. And so because of that, we try to ensure that we're hitting the communication at multiple levels, just for them to ensure that like, hey, we're thinking about you, and we want to ensure that you're well equipped to start for the fall. And then we also start doing some more intentional recruiting and advertise our new scholar welcome that happens in August as well. And then we fast forward to August. And so by this time, we're hoping that most scholars are, have already attended orientation, had finalized their fall, 2025 schedule, and are planning on attending our new Trailblazer welcome. And so if you get the next slide. Now, for us, our new Trailblazer welcome, I'm a big fan of marketing is key. And so we here within student affairs, we have quite a few folks that are have some marketing background with our marketing team. So we try to place this out. So this is what we already have tentatively ready to go for August. And so this is where students are going to start receiving this communication. Now, with here at UNT Dallas, but we also partner with other different areas across campus. So as you can see at the bottom of this banner, we actually partner with organizations like Trailblazer Elite, which is a first-gen organization that helps current students and transfer students get that additional support. And we've noticed that we actually have a good 30 to 40% of our Dream.Us scholars overlap and are part of this organization as well. So that makes sense to invite them to be part of the table and part of this program as well. We have Presidential Scholars, our Greater Texas Foundation Blazer Scholars, and then my office, and then Dream.Us. And so this is where we kind of start bridging that communication for students. And hopefully we're creating this sense of connectedness on campus. And then also we start emphasizing how our campus leadership is also involved. And so we know that leadership visibility matters. Chris, could you hit the next slide for me real quick? So this gives us a day. So this gives us the agenda for the day for our Trailblazer welcome. And so as you can see, our event, it's a 3-hour for general scholar programs. And then an additional hour for our Dream.Us because we incorporate our national scholar welcome to this day. So this is an opportunity for students across all these scholarship programs to come into campus, connect with one another, connect with their support systems, and then also connect with our leadership as well. So this past year, so the last couple of years, we've built up this program. Last year was the first year that we had an opportunity to have our new interim president come in and do a welcome for not only our Dream.Us scholars, but our scholars across campus. And then during lunchtime, they had a chance to connect with our VP of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. So they also got a chance to see our Dean of Students. They also got a chance to see their RAVP for enrollment management, and they got to see their support system immediate day-to-day. Hey, if I have a question about financial aid, this is a person that I go to. And so the whole idea of the new scholar welcome is for them to meet everyone at different phases, staggered and what have you. So it's not one overwhelming, but then two, have the opportunity to see that our leaders on cross campus makes themselves not only available but visible as well. They'll be able to see, oh, there goes President von Eschenbach here on campus, or there goes our VP or our Dean of Students. And so and students also get a chance to connect with them. Our president gives an opportunity, a couple of minutes to have Q&A. Our last year's our VP had an opportunity. They really did. Hey, I'm only going to speak for about 5-6 minutes. The rest of the 30-minute window, ask questions. And our VP at the time, he himself from Brazilian background, grew up in Florida and undocumented también. And so he was able to share his story and his upbringing, background, and what have you, and being a leader in higher ed. And so a lot of our students got a chance to resonate with that. And so it was really well. And it started building that sense of connectedness that we want our students to have when they come to a campus. And so again, that we break down the time frame, we go into breakout sessions. So each of their scholars go to their particular session. So they'll have an opportunity to come with me, but they're not overlapping with another program. And during that 50-minute window, I basically take the entire scholarship guide, break it down into a PowerPoint, and then basically just go with it for them so they can kind of see it. And we talked about everything that covers on those, I think 14 to 16 pages. We break it down into a PowerPoint slide, and we take our time. Students have questions, especially when it comes about the timeline. Hey, Dream.Us doesn't, when will it hit? And it's like, oh, well, it may take a little time, for it to kick in. But this is what we do on our campus. We add a hold on your schedule hold, and it's a positive hold, meaning that you're not going to get dropped from classes. While we're processing, working with the national office, working with our financial aid team, we're navigating TASFA, which is our institution application form for students in the state of Texas. And so we break everything down so they have an opportunity to really have questions. I know that oftentimes they may not look at that 16-page document, but if you see it in a PowerPoint, they're like, oh, and it's funny because we can reiterate, we can go verbatim on that form, and they'll be like, oh my God, this is brand new. When in reality, they have access to this, whenever they become scholars. But oftentimes they just need that extra push to look at it. And so from there, we link it to them, and then I keep a couple of copies physical copies in my office, in case students want to come by afterwards and connect with us. And so from there, and then they also get a chance to connect with our financial aid rep. She makes our financial aid team here on campus makes themselves accessible to our students, so they know they can schedule an appointment with them, connect with us, and kind of navigate that process from there. Afterwards, we kind of move into a big icebreaker. So they had an opportunity to connect with all other scholars across various programs, because they realized like, oh, I'm a Dream.Us scholar, but I'm also presidential scholar, or I'm also GTFs, and they start connecting the dots. Okay, like I have a support system here on campus. And then the goal is to also invite our new VP to come in and talk to our students as well, talk about the experience of support system. And then they really do get an opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation with leadership. And I feel like that's a really great way to kind of, as they transition to start in the fall, they realize, okay, I know that I have Joe as my scholar advisor. I also know Vanessa, my financial aid rep, but I also know that if I have questions, I can go to my dean of students. I can talk to the VP, or even, connect with the president. I'm at an event. And so it's really, really neat, an opportunity to do that. And so we wrap up right before, about 15 minutes before the new scholar welcome happens. So like that, students have a chance to kind of debrief, stretch their legs, get some, water, what have you. And then we welcome them back to the new scholar welcome that the Dream.Us host. In the last 3 years, we've post-pandemic, we've been able to host it in person here. And then at that point, we also tell students to invite their family members if they want to come in. And one neat thing is that we had a student that she was a Dream.Us scholar, and her younger sister, I want to say she went to U of H, and her younger sister stayed in Dallas. She came to UNT Dallas. So the mom is like, hey, this is my second Dream.Us scholar. And I have a third one, hopefully that, he's, I think he's actually a junior now in high school. So one more year is like, hopefully, if he stays in Texas, we'll look at those. If he goes out of state, we'll combine. But it's really neat because parents get to see that, that sense of connectedness, but also the support system. And I will kid you now, while students are going through the new scholar welcome, I'm typically on the side talking to the parents and having conversations about, hey, these are next steps and what have you, if I didn't get a chance to connect with them at orientation. And so this is what really our new scholar welcome looks like for the day. And again, the whole idea is for students not only to connect with one another, but also to connect with other scholars, connect with our student affairs teams. Typically we'll have, our student engagement, my office, career services, and other offices that come out and have an opportunity to kind of give their 5-minute spiel. We know that orientation is a great way for them to connect, but oftentimes it can be overwhelming because they're here for a whole day, 2 days, and they're like, man, I got so much info. I don't know where to go, or what to do next. And so the whole idea is for them, by this time, they're having a more intimate setting, we'll connect with other scholars, but then more particular with our current scholars here. And so, and again, having our VP and our president come in, it just shows students are like, okay, it's not only my scholar advisor that it's here, it's also leadership across campus that is showing some support and connecting with us. Maribel, I may take your idea, how you shared with, having the letters that come out from your VP, and what have you really enjoyed that? Because I know that means a lot to our students, because they're like, oh, I still have that letter, or I have that business card that you shared with me. And so it's really neat when students have an opportunity to do that. And so and then once we have all of this happening for the day, Chris, if you want to hit the next slide for me, we also start developing some handouts and some tangibles with them. So obviously they'll get a copy of the new scholar welcome, not new scholar welcome, but the new scholar guide. They'll get obviously information from us as well. But then we start developing some digital and some tangible items that can walk away. So we've developed it used to be a 1-pager, but once we realized all the resources that we have, it became 2-pagers. And so this link will be provided there. But essentially, these are all the offices within student affairs, and then also other student services areas their students would essentially need to go if they need to withdraw from a class. They need to talk to the registrar's office. need to connect with advising, they'll have where to contact with that. And so this is also a living document, meaning if a student walks away with it, they can always scan the QR code at the bottom or go get this on Canva, and then it's always going to be updated. We try to update it for sure every semester, but at least twice a semester we go back, because we know turnover happens, or new office get added, or changes happen across campus. And so we ensure that with this resource guide, they have that opportunity to be able to, like, okay, cool, like this is where I can go for what. And at the top of each of these documents, they'll see their support team here at UNT Dallas. So at bare minimum, they'll know who I am as their scholar advisor and who their financial aid rep is as well downstairs if they need to talk to someone directly. And then within our campus and within our office, we have obviously our office numbers and emails, but we also have a Google number that we have for students if they need to text us so they can connect with our team. And then also we have a bookings page, where that's where I used to do, because it connects very smooth with Outlook, and so they can schedule their appointments with me. And so whether they're a Dream.Us scholar, student as a whole on campus, or it could be, oftentimes we have students that struggle academically, so we have an academic success plan that we develop with them, and so they have an opportunity to schedule an appointment with me on a bi-weekly, monthly basis, and we kind of chat through those next steps. And so this guide is really helpful for them. And then the next slide provides, also we created a link tree for them. And so this link tree is from our student affairs, but he actually has the first 4 tiles are all the information that we have for enrollment management, the student solutions, which is basically one-stop shop for our students, and then for them how to connect with us online as well. And then we actually go down for student affairs resources and provide every single office. So this is where they find the care pantry. If they need access to, to their counseling and wellness counselor sessions, how to set those up, how to get involved on campus. And so we try to ensure that our students have all the information, in front of them. And then down the road, once we start scheduling our one-on-ones with them, then we have like, hey, we had a chance to connect and see this link tree. They're like, actually, no. So like, no worries. This is the link. This is where you go. We get it. You're busy. You have outside responsibilities outside of the classroom. Like to Chris's point earlier, most of our students, if not all of them, are first generation students. So we know for a fact that not only are they the first in the family to come to college, but oftentimes is the entire family coming to college as well. And because of that, we want to be able to provide those resources for our students and our parents as well. We navigate conversations with parents a veces también. They'll come in and like, hey, can I just come in, meet with you? I know as a student I scheduled it, but my mom actually has the questions. And so we'll have those conversations with them. And so the whole idea is that we want to ensure our students have access not only to information, but access to us as well as individuals. And I know in a very fast-paced world of higher ed, especially for those of us that are in student affairs, we know that it's fast-paced and never stop. When the minute that you think you have some breathing room, you're have to hit the ground running 100 miles an hour. And so once students are able to find these resources, this is where we kind of connect with them and then kind of chat. Hey, these are the things, where to go to access what. And so essentially that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. Hopefully that wasn't too much of information, but the links are going to be provided for you all if you ever need to look at the agenda for our new scholar welcome or even the presentations that we do. I know definitely not to reinvent the wheel. I took all those nuggets from the new scholar guide. So those are easy, copy and paste and put them on there. So and I think my next slide is open for any preguntas that anyone may have. But yeah, thank you all. That's kind of all I have for that's what we do here at UNT Dallas.
I just want to take a minute to just thank both Maribel and Joe. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys put into this. I know it's no small feat, but I also know that it helps our scholars just leaps and bounds to be able to again get started on the right path. Really eliminate a lot of the anxieties that they feel in terms of going through this situation. So I'm hoping that more of our partner colleges will sort of hear this, see how you guys have done it, maybe model a lot of what you are doing and putting together their own orientations this year for our new scholars. I'm gonna hold off on the preguntas just 1 minute because we do have a lot of announcements to go through. I'm gonna try to speed through them as much as possible because I'm sure you guys will have questions for Maribel and Joe regarding their processes. So just to go through some of these housekeeping items first. So as they both mentioned, right, our nationwide new scholar welcome is going to be coming up. We do have a tentative date right now as for August 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is tentative, but it's like a hard tentative. So you guys can start looking at this and hopefully start planning around not only doing an orientation, but as they both have mentioned, they've actually have also done the screenings. So they've gotten together their scholars on campus and been able to just watch on the screen the national new scholar welcome to all together as a campus. So really strongly recommend, if you can do that, to do that as well. We've had some of our partner colleges combine their own orientations with the new scholar welcome. So it's a great opportunity to sort of knock them both out in one session and really just sort of have a great like full day event with scholars on their campus. We are gotten a lot better at keeping it to 1 hour. Like Kane be cracking the whip on me. She'd be like, "Bro, 1 hour. Like they got stuff to do, right?" So, so if you want to pair it with your orientation, you definitely will be able to do so. We won't take up too much of that time. We also will be providing new scholar swag. I know we love the swag, so we'll be doing the bags, the pens. We're doing some new items, some pendants, some cell phone wallets that we will all send out to our partner colleges so that you can distribute it. These are great, again, opportunities to have these events and distribute the swag. It sort of adds a little flavor to the event. Next month, we will be sharing more of the timeline in terms of when that swag will be going out and collecting your mailing address just to make sure that we sent that to the right person. And then, yay, graduation stalls finally came in. So sorry that I know that there was a couple of delays the last couple of weeks in providing the tracking number. I blame the tariffs, who like killed all of our stuff. But those finally came in earlier this week. I was able to email everyone their individual tracking numbers. If you did not get that tracking of that email for whatever reason, you could also click on the link here that will have the entire list for everyone, and then just filter for your college, and your tracking information will be there. This will also be posted on the PC Weekly that will go out tomorrow, so you'll have access to that full list there as well. I know many of you were waiting on these stalls because you're not only for commencement, but you're doing your own scholarship graduation ceremonies for your scholars on campus. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, it looks like everybody's gonna get their stalls on time. But we also have this congratulatory message from our president and CEO, Gabby Pacheco. So, if you want to incorporate this video as part of your session, we welcome you to do so. Here's the link. Please take photos, videos. Like, we're always so grateful to get, photos and just messages from scholars and partner colleges in this time, just celebrating the culmination of our scholars journey. So make sure you hashtag us at Scholar, Dreamer Grad, TheDream.Us. Here's all our social media handles. Please be sure to tag us. And then one final thing for our scholars, just please remind them to stay connected, right? Alumni surveys are coming out every year. And that data is super, super important for us to be able to continue to do this work, to elevate our scholar stories, to really sort of combat some of the rhetoric that goes on in Congress, and really highlighting what our scholars are doing, and to the effect that they are really uplifting our communities, right? So we need this data, so it's super important. Like, just remind them, this is an ongoing process. Just because you've graduated doesn't mean you leave the familia. You will always be part of our family, and we always need that sort of support from them as well. And then we do also have some graduate resources that we provide for our alum, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Later this week, we will be sending out eligibility emails. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds for this, but I do want you to have some sense, because scholars will probably reach out to you with questions as these go out. So these are the emails that will go out to scholars, letting them know their eligibility status after spring 2025, after this semester, right? So you need to make sure that we're clear on that, because students start to freak out and they're like, oh, what does that mean, that I'm not getting my like scholarship this semester? No, everything for this semester is fine. Everything is cleared. This is now the data post spring 2025. We do have a number of categories, right? We have students who have maxed out on their total scholarship award as of this semester, after this semester, who have timed out the time commitment, whether they're in community college or receiving their bachelor's degree. Through the EBRs, we've identified folks that have graduated with a bachelor's or a terminal degree. We also have folks that have withdrawn because they were not enrolled this semester and did not submit a break of enrollment form. You know, our scholars need to be enrolled every consecutive semester. And the 2024-2025 new scholars that never enrolled. As we all know, once a applicant is awarded, they do have until spring of the following semester in order to enroll in partner colleges, or again, their scholarship is withdrawn, right? So all of these different category of emails will be going out this week. So you may or may not get communications from your scholars who receive these emails, and just sort of are asking sort of like, what do I do if this doesn't really apply to me? The information is now reflected in your PC Scholar report, and you can look at these different column numbers in order to find out their eligibility status and their scholar status. One important note, because of because of sort of the situation now in Florida, both our 2024 and 2025 new scholars and current scholars in Florida who did not enroll either last semester or this year are automatically being given a deferral until 2025. So we are in Florida. We are not going to be withdrawing anyone for those particular cases, just because we know that there's a lot going on right now, and so we want to make sure that students don't miss out on the opportunity to continue to obtain their degrees because of sort of extenuating circumstances, so to speak. So outreach from you all in regards to all of this, as students are reaching out to you, and you know, if they're maxed out and they're graduating, if they're timing out and they're graduating, like perfect, there's nothing left for them to do. If they are maxed out, timed out, but have not completed their degree as of yet, if they have less than 15 credits to graduate, so they just need that one more semester and they'll be able to knock out those 15 credits, they can apply for bridge funding. So national scholars need to go to their ISTS scholar portal, and through their request form on their portal homepage, go through the process of requesting bridge funding for an additional semester. They need to make sure that their spring grades have been posted to their transcripts, because the transcript will be asked for this request in order to verify that they only have 15 credits left to graduate. So if they do it before then, it's just going to stall the process. Please advise your students to make sure their spring grades have been posted. If they, you know, had a rough situation and they did not enroll this semester, but they are interested in continuing to go through the degree, they can go in and retroactively submit the break of enrollment request. You know, we had to twist Elena's arm, but she finally gave in. She was like, all right, fine, I'll let them do it retroactively. But there still is the opportunity for them to do that, and then their eligibility status will be rectified once that is submitted, reviewed, and approved. For scholars who have graduated, you know, again, we will be sending out their scholar surveys, and we want them to just reiterate that in their surveys so that we can make sure that all of, you know, from the PC side and from the scholar side, we're receiving those confirmations. And they also must submit a degree audit. I'm seeing Elena put on the chat for the different types of request forms. And now I'll pass it off to my colleague Vernisa, who's going to talk about our annual scholar surveys.
Thanks, Chris. Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's great to be here with you all. And I hope that you're all doing well and having a good week so far, given everything that's going on. It's a busy time of year. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Bernisa and I'm the senior research analyst at TheDream.Us. I primarily work with the survey data that we collect from our scholars, from our alumni, and from you as our partners on our college campuses. And I also do a lot of data management work and internal work for my colleagues to support their work with programming. I'm normally a little bit more behind the scenes, so it's always great to get to pop up and see you all and kind of talk a little bit more about our work. So I'm here today to share the exciting news that it's officially Scholar Survey season again. Really exciting. The Scholar Survey launches on Thursday, May 1st, which we're really excited about. And so I have some details to share with you all, and I'll be fast so folks can, ask some questions of Joe and Maribel. So why is Scholar Survey season exciting? Why should you be excited? Why should your scholars be excited? It's because scholars get a chance to give back by sharing their genuine feedback about their experiences, their needs, their aspirations, and their accomplishments over the past academic year. And this data is super important because it helps us to make changes according to what scholars are telling us they need. And then also it helps us to advocate on behalf of our scholars, which is especially important under, the current administration and in today's extremely anti-immigrant climate, as Chris mentioned. So that data is really important for us to get. And then Scholar Survey season is also exciting because the survey helps us to understand both, what's going on, the bigger picture as a program, but then we also get to look at what's unique about each college. So this gives our team the full story on what's working well across the different campuses so that we can then turn around and better support the amazing work that you all do. And so we get to see these cool college specific details that might get lost if we're just looking at the program data overall. So next slide, please, for the details. So as I said, the survey launches Thursday, May 1st. The deadline for the survey is actually June 1st. Apologies. The renewals start on June 2nd. So the deadline is going to be June 1st. And we'll be encouraging scholars to complete the survey over the next month as part of our Give Back Month, where scholars can really honor their commitment as scholars by using their voice and sharing with us. Who is the Scholar Survey for? We want to hear from all of your current scholars, whether they're still currently enrolled or they're getting ready to graduate from college. And what's on the survey is the most up-to-date data about scholars' reflections of the past academic year. And then finally, their survey links, their unique survey links will be emailed to them and texted to them directly to the scholars. So if they reach out asking about it, please ask them to check their emails and their texts to see if they can find it. And if they really can't find it, please encourage them to reach out to me and I'll get them their link. We really can't do any of our amazing work, as Chris said, and our work in supporting you without having this data first, especially during critical years like this. So we're really hoping that you'll join us in encouraging your scholars to participate and fill out the survey. So remember, May is Give Back Month for our scholars, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chris. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, Vernisa. And that was my typo. I'm sorry. I'll correct it before I sent it out to everybody. So I'll go through the next couple of slides really quickly. So again, as we're going into graduation season, there are many scholars who are interested in going into graduate school. So we want to highlight a session, an info session that is being held by Social Finance regarding their Dreamers graduate loan. So this loan is specifically designated for Dreamers with DACA or TPS. It is a graduate loan program that they've put together with some consultation from TheDream.Us. And so Thursday, May 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, they will be managing the session to go through all of the information of what the loan program entails, what are the eligibility requirements, and sort of the process for that. They have limited opportunities for new borrowers, so they are mandating that anyone interested in applying for a loan this year attend or at least register for this session in order to be able to go through the rest of the process. So folks can register with the link here. We've also provided a lot more information in terms of the eligibility and the loan program on our website under our graduate resources. So you can find the link here as well. Also want to just put in as a reminder, we do have partnerships with EST and Kaplan. Kaplan provides free test prep courses for LSATs, GRE, MCATs, just a wide array of different entrance exams for graduate school that they are providing to specifically our scholars free of cost, right? So this all information can be found in our graduate resources page. Also want to remind everyone that the success convening is coming up in September. You can go ahead and start registering to attend the conference now. TheDream.Us is providing a free registration for our scholar advisors. This is a limited amount, so we are only able to do one scholar advisor per campus, but you can use the code TDUS advisor when you are registering for the conference, and using that code will again eliminate your registration fee for one scholar advisor. So feel free to do that when you are registering for the conference. If you have any questions, if the code is not working or any other questions regarding the conference itself, you can email Ivana at thepresidentsalliance.org. Moreover, President's Alliance are providing awards for the conference itself. And so I wanted just to highlight some of the nomination forms. The nomination form does close May 30th. There are 3 different types of awards that they are giving out. One is the Student Leadership Award. This is in recognition of a scholar or an alum or an undocumented student or alum that has demonstrated exceptional leadership in advocating for equality policies. There is an Institutional Leadership Award for institutions that have really been in support of this population. And then a Higher Education Leadership Award, which recognize faculty, staff, or senior administrators, again, in support and championing the student population. So these are just snippets of each award category. If you click on the nomination form link here, you'll be able to see more details in terms of what each of these awards entail. So we want to see your nominations, right? If you know of an amazing student, please feel free to nominate them, or institution or faculty or staff nominate. You can self-nominate as well. So, I mean, this is a great community doing this work. So we really want to pull some of the context for these nominations through these networks. So really want to encourage you all to submit a nomination for these. And with that, I will close out our presentation and open it up for questions. We have a few more minutes, so please feel free to raise your hand, or you can put your questions in the chat for any one of us, our speakers. Again, thank you so much, Joe and Maribel, for your presentations today. Any questions? Feel free to raise your hands. Everybody.
Chris, more than question, I want to say something. I received the email for the TheDream.Us with this extra word to tell the students how well we welcome them and how safe. I make the email. I have 11 students. Was only last week, only 1 student accepted. I just checked, the 11 students accepted. That means is make a difference. Send the email, and I added all the extra comment, and I put a little bit like a scamming also for my part. But our intervention, our emails coming from us, tell them I'm here and I'm gonna be the person to help you. I'm so excited when I open like all of them. Even one accepting to change the school, go to city college, but I still is CUNY, you know what I mean? The rest stay here. I'm very happy, and I really is like, it's the first time I see that the response, especially of these times, make a difference more than ever. Thank you for that extra help, because it was beautiful, the part you presenting, how to tell the students they were here more than ever.
Gracias. Any other questions regarding some of the work that Joe or Maribel are doing on campus? Any questions for anything, any of the updates? All right. I will take that silence as a good thing, I guess. Because I know we're not a shy group. So if it's quiet, that means that everybody's good. So thank you everyone for joining us. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'll include Joe's and Maribel's contact information in the slides as well. So, we need to sort of just connect with each other, just make sure we are working in unison as a community. And so again, feel free to reach out to us. We are here in support of you as well as you are in support of our scholars, right? So it has a whole community effect here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Joe and Maribel again. And we are here for you all. Gracias. Ciao.